Stop, let's do NQ first. Let's look at the monthlies and see where we are. So this is our June value area low is still here present. And have this. So this is our June value area low, and we're coming very close to this right now. Based on this, what can you tell right off the bat between ES and NQ?
There's a lot of support at the bottom.
What's the difference between ES and NQ here?
None.
NQ still.
That one looks like it broke it.
That's correct. So ES, if this is your June value area low, and this was our 4 months, if you look at this now and you draw it from here to the end, if I grab the right tool. This was our first sig right here at 45 today, and we were able to crack that and continued lower, right? We are kind of stuck right now, right, at the nodes here. But if you look at NQ, and we do the same thing, first of all, in June, we're still inside the June balance. We haven't really cracked this yet. And when you look at this from the perspective of, you know, the first sig on 4 months, you're pretty close to it. So if you guys think about, you know, Peter Stadelmeyer and his value areas, the way he talks about it or the way he teaches, if you're so close to the value area like this, the perception on the market does not change for the long-term traders, guys. They still believe that if they catch inside of this, they could potentially push this all the way to 15, whatever, 116 here, which would be your 4-month POC. So this would be the level that I would say you want to be somewhat aware. Keep it on your chart, because this one is the one that's going to drive your sentiment. If you're able to break that above, then you know where you're headed, right? You have some volume nodes, but ultimately you're going to be going to 15.6, right? At the moment, this is your key level to reclaim. Once we reclaim that level 53, if you're able to hold above it, I think you set up bullish time frame, like longer time frame traders are involved. So the question I have for you guys, in a normal trend, in a normal balance day, who's in control? Short term? And don't just jump to answer. Short term trader in control or a long term trader in a balance state? Okay.
Short term.
They're both in control.
Okay. Anyone else? CK?
Short term,
Okay. Why is it short term control?
because long-term trader are the one who creates the trend and they have aggression and they move the price out of balance. Whereas short-term are the one which are dealers and locals, they deal with each other and they keep the price in the balance.
Okay. So next question, of course, I have a follow-up. What does a short-term trader look for? This will help you guys a little bit. What does a short-term trader look for day to day?
They
In and out.
buy
quick
from one
trade.
side, sell to another from a volume perspective. They don't look for longer swings. So they try to short the top, buy the bottom in a typical D-shaped balance profile.
So they look for a fair price. Would you say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Short-term traders look for a fair price because they're going to be in and out. So what does a long-term trader look for?
They look for fair price below. Their perception of the price is different than the short term. They look for a price below, like the buyers look for the price below to enter. And I guess they also look for the same thing. They also look for the fair price from their perception, which is a different. than
Okay,
the short
let me
term.
ask you this. Let's stop
look
there. I'll
for
give you a
long-
note.
longer
You're
time
on the right
frame.
track and then you stopped. You're looking to buy a Tesla, right? Let's say a year ago, and you're a long-term buyer. You've been shopping for a car. Was last year the price you're looking to buy Tesla? Let's say 2021. Was that the year you're looking to buy, let's say, a house right now? If you want to buy your forever home, is this the time for you to buy it?
No.
No.
Not a discount.
So what does a long-term trader look for?
Cheaper prices.
Advantage. They're looking for advantageous
Yeah.
price. They're looking for a price that's below value.
Okay.
While the short-term traders, when they trade, they're looking for fair price. It's like, okay, well, this is a fair price. I get in here and I get out. Short-term traders in a balance, they control the parameters. They control the initial balance.
Okay.
Right. If the balance is extended, who do you think did that?
Long term.
Long-term.
Always long-term.
Long term.
But, well, since I'm on this path, okay, now I have to explain it. Where's the initial balance? Hopefully it works. I don't know why it doesn't. Okay. Here's your initial balance today, right? So the initial balance was 25.5 points, a little bit over the average. Okay. How would you know when it's a trend day based on initial balance? Does anyone have a clue?
When
Break IBL or IBH. Regression.
What if the IBH and IBL are broken and then you're stuck in the middle? I think we've had that day recently. I don't know where it was.
That's a range day.
You know,
Okay.
when it's the trend day, when it's making higher highs, higher lows, or higher lows and lower lows.
So is this a trend day?
I think so.
Extended typical.
It's a combo.
Standard typical. Normal variation of it.
Yeah, it's an extended typical day.
CK, what did you say?
It's a normal variation.
That is, it's a normal variation day. That's how Peter Sattlemeyer called this normal variation. He would call it a trend day, but only if this candle, I would say, did not come in at 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
This is a normal variation up to this level, but does anyone know how he establishes it that? How's it established?
At the end of the day, the
Go ahead,
run at the
Cuban.
end of the
You're
day?
on the right track.
at the run at the run at the end of the day.
That's called a spike. Okay.
Would it be when the auctioning, it doesn't break a lower, it goes higher, so it doesn't break the previous candle low?
Not the way he explained that, right? So the way Peter looks at it, if your initial balance is, let's say, whatever we had, 25 points, right? And you 2x the initial balance, right? Down or up, that's considered a trend day. Hence, if you guys look at the X2, anything below X2 is considered a trend day in Peter's world.
Okay.
And Peter focused mainly on market profiles and time, right? But the same concept is in volume. But as you know, I'm talking more about market profile. There's new terminology. And if I throw everything at you guys at once, I sometimes feel like you guys, nothing wrong with it, but it's a new language. And a lot of you guys will freak out and confuse the trends, right? Like you have, you know, CK just mentioned something, pretty much what Peter calls a normal variation day. Then you have a trend day. It becomes a trend day when it's over X2 of the initial balance. It's a normal variation day when it's within the 2x of the initial balance. So this is 1, and here's a double of the initial balance.
Okay.
So if this is our initial balance tree here, like this is initial balance high, and this is our initial balance low here, we're just going to measure it. Don't ask me to be that accurate here. If you take this and then you measure the same 25, call it 25. That's 2x.
Normal variation.
This
That's
is
what
your
it's called,
range.
normal variation.
Yes, this is, if it stays within 2x, it's a normal variation. If it breaks the balance, it's considered a trend day. And the
Okay.
only people, so when it becomes, here's a trick question, I'll let you guys figure this out or research it. When it breaks the 2x day, how do you think the distribution of volume is? Meaning, is it more short-term trader volume or is it more trend? When the trend day is, it's more, I would say, longer time frame trader volume. Who has more volume on a?
I think it's longer. I think it's longer term because they have like those limit orders sitting out there and they get hit.
Okay.
I
Anyone
guess.
else? No, it's a good, very good guess. You're on the right track, but there's more to it. Anyone else?
Has to
CK,
be
what do you
long
think?
term. Has to be long term because they are extending the range IB. And primarily that's the reason I can think of.
No, that's correct, right? Because if I'm looking for an advantageous price for me, right, and that price hits, how much time am I going to spend at that level?
Not much.
Not much.
Not at all.
In and out.
Same concept I talked to you guys about. If the Apple iPhone goes on sale tomorrow, iPhone 15 for $200, which one of you would not buy it?
Yep.
I wouldn't.
Okay, you're special. Okay, when it's a short-term trader, right? So you have people like Dumpster that are frugal, right? He has 2 pairs of shoes. A person that's, living day to day, do you really think they care how much the shoes are today versus tomorrow if they gotta be the trend and the friends gotta notice the shoes? Do you really think they care?
No.
No, because I would say maybe that person is not planning for the bad times, right? And that's how the long-term traders work as well in the negotiation and the auction process, right? They're involved on breaking of the initial balances, right? And if this day, let's say that this never happened, I'm just gonna cross out. Let's say this crap never happened here, and we stayed inside of this here. How would you interpret this from value perspective and longer and shorter time frame activity? How would you guys take this? Once, and if it's boring, you can log off, but there's a point why I'm asking you guys these questions. Why do you guys think?
Accumulation.
Number one, they're happy trading
Okay,
within that range.
What kind of activity did we have in this day right here, from here to here? I guess, what kind of participants did we have?
Short term.
And
Well, you may have had long term dumping up
Passive.
top.
well,
Responsive.
okay. Would there have
Market
been
makers
any?
accumulating.
Would there ever have been a long-term trader participating in this day?
Maybe at the supply or demand zones.
Keep going.
They will be at the IB, above IBL and below IBH. Oh, sorry, opposite. Below IBL and above IBH.
Okay, so tell me what happened then.
They were sitting with their passive orders, and when you hit like sell, first time sell above IBH, they sold, and when the price went below IBL, again passive buyer showed up. Long term, they brought it up because they absorbed it. But towards the end, the long term seller, they becomes initiative sellers, which broke the IBL, broke those long term buyers, and pushed the price down.
Correct. Now, the second piece of this, when you're making a range, when you're breaking, you nailed everything. When you're breaking this, what kind of volume should you have when you're breaking a long-term buyer?
Ultra
High
large.
volume, I would think.
That
Not more than
volume,
that.
that volume needs to be really, really strong.
Yeah.
Relative, right? This is a relative question on 10 minutes. Relative of this body to the bodies that you see, let's say just this day. How's this?
Yeah, it doesn't match.
Average. It's an average size for the day. So low compared to this body length of the candle.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's switch now. What about now?
Mm.
Smaller.
Now the first one is small. It's bigger than the candle, and the second one is right.
Okay. So what would you make out of this in 30 minutes?
Anomaly.
What kind of anomaly?
Bearish volume, bullish volume, volume anomaly.
So does this candle have an anomaly here?
It does, yeah, compared to the other arrow that you made
This
from
one
the
here?
left. Mm-hmm.
This candle has a bigger body and it has bigger volume.
Yeah, I don't think that one has the
It's
anomaly
about the
though.
same. I
Yeah,
guess.
no
The
anomaly.
one in the middle is the one with the anomaly.
Well, this one here is a problem.
Yeah.
This is 100% a problem from volume perspective, right? You went up, and I think this is when J-Pow or whenever something happened.
Mm.
Here he was speaking, right? And then they're able to dip it. So in order for us to break, especially the initial balance, just to give you a clue, on initial balance day, if it's a D-shaped day, 80% of the range that you're going to have that day is set when?
On the IBH and the
13
IBR.
hours.
In the
Opening
first hour.
range, OR.
Always.
The first hour.
Always set in the first hour. I mean, go back, test it for 20 years, and you'll
Yep.
see that if it's a range day, if it's typical and forming to be a D shape,
10:30.
85% of the range is set there. Is there a chance that you can, of course, break it like you did today, where you have initiation and long-term activity happening?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, doable. Another thing, how do you know the aggression of the long-term traders on market profile? How would one know the aggression? If I turn on the market volume profile here, how would you know if this was aggressive here? Well, let me just hide initial balance. How would you know whether this buying here is aggressive?
Increase in volume.
Okay, and what about the body of the candles? You're on the right track, just keep going.
Full body.
Okay, what else?
Fingerprints.
What about single prints?
If there is a aggression, then price goes down, first get absorbed, sellers, and then aggressive buyers comes in, which brings the price up aggressively. Time factor, which produces single prints at the bottom.
Okay. How many
Wouldn't they be
TPOs?
considered?
Big bodies. I think they have big bodies. Candles.
Okay. Anyone else? You're gonna say
Yeah.
something similar.
Yes. Wouldn't it be buying tails?
That's correct. So here's a question, a direct binary question. How many TPOs do you need to show minimum strong aggression? What is the level?
Isn't it 3?
The 3.
Okay. You guys are on a okay track. It's 2 tails. You have to have minimum of 2 letters to be considered a buying tail. Okay. 1 tail, you had the opportunity, but you were not really aggressive. You did not push the price back up. The more tails you have, the more finish it. The more tails you have on the bottom, the more what?
Action.
Volume.
The more aggressive the other time frame people are. The long-term traders become more aggressive the longer the tail. Okay. Do you guys think today was a very aggressive buying here? Does this look aggressive buying?
Yeah, it
No.
does.
No.
No.
No, not at all. They're not aggressive buying here. And if they break, let's say the price lower tomorrow, right? How do you think the retests would play on the PDL? Would they be aggressive or not? Aggressive on selling. Would they be aggressive on selling if we break this PDL low here?
Because you are below value, you would need initiation here if you have to go down.
Probably not. If we weren't aggressive today, probably not.
Okay. So would you
Wouldn't
short
it?
Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be no because of the TPO tails? So the single prints of 2 will signal that there is aggressive buying happening, and it would need to have strong initiative selling activity in order to break that buying tail.
That's correct. What did the 2 TPOs mean in terms of auction?
Poor.
It's a poor low. If you have unfinished business, what is it that they need to do? To come back and finish it. So what are
Revisit
the
it.
odds?
Yeah.
What are the odds if you leave here that you're gonna come back here? I would say very high.
High.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they higher when it's a D shape or if it's a P shape?
E because of the
B.
uptrend.
V shape.
B
'Cause
shape.
the volume's all at the
P.
top.
P.
Correct. Actually, it's high probability you're gonna revisit when it's in a D shape. Because the range is what? Is it higher in D shape or in a trend day? Where's the range tighter?
In the
In what?
middle.
In the
No, what
D.
type of day? Is it D or P? Or B?
D, a D shape.
Yeah, the D shape, so that they don't have to travel as far. And most likely, if you're in a D shape, if you have the distribution that looks like this, I'm trying to draw a profile. You know, you have your POC here, and you have a, let's say, failed auction here and here. I mean, once they crack this, it's very easy for them to take that POC and run it to the value area high or high of the day. But if you have a P shape, and let's say you have a failed auction here, right?
Yeah, it's harder for them to
I
get it.
mean, look what we have to get through, guys.
Yeah.
We have to go from here all the way up to resolve this auction.
Mm-hmm.
So just know if you see, and now I'm combining 2 concepts, right? If you see a failed auction in a D shape, it's not a strategy. It's more of a, oh, I'm aware of it. And the context is, let's say if I break this POC, right? And this is a D shape and there's a failed auction on the top, then I could use this to my advantage because I know they're going to try to resolve it. And if it's a failed auction caused at the late of the day, what happens? What's the rule? What do you guys think is?
Next day they come and correct it.
On D shape, the next day is correct. On P and lowercase b shapes, it's not guaranteed that it's next day because it takes a little bit longer.
Okay.
Okay. Everything I said so far, does it click?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll pass the ball to one of you guys, and you guys are gonna set up the day for trading for tomorrow. Who wants it? I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, you guys froze for a second. Why is this level highlighted now here that I just highlighted?
That's
The
the
next
range.
POC.
That's where the range is. Breaks the range.
It's a
The
VPOC.
VPOC.
This is your VPOC, guys.
Every
Come on.
buck. Yeah.
Come on. Simple. And where did we bounce today?
Yep.
Does anyone remember when I was trading live mentioning this level? 4290 is fairly important. It was 4290 to 4285. You guys ring a bell now?
Yeah.
So this is important, right? Because right now, if you think about this VPOC here that had a really awful, I think this Monday, and maybe correct me if wrong, the Friday after, I think we were actually, wasn't the market closed or something here? Something weird happened. I don't know what happened, but I thought that was the weekend that either Monday was, I don't know if that was October 9th. I don't know. One of these
was the
days,
war.
something, was it the war?
For
Yeah,
Columbus Day or something.
I really don't know.
we
Monday
gapped
was
down.
Columbus Day. The bonds were closed. That's, yeah, okay. So now you're coming back to here because this is the the crime scene, I will call it. You came here, you auctioned higher, you took out this high, and then you consolidated, right? This was the low of your consolidation. The first day was 43.65. You came back today to pretty much that level from here. And ooh, what the hell did I do?
Jake.
Oh, Jake. You came back to this value area low, and what did you do here? What did they tell you here? They rejected it.
Strong
They
rejection.
did not accept the higher inside. Today it opened, right? They had the spike in period. Me and CK went through this today. I'm on ETH here, but let's go on RTH. So now if you guys look here, they had the spike in M period, right? CK was right. I was looking, but for me, I don't know what I did wrong. I had ends, I believe, or maybe I'm just not looking at it right. So when you broke this 43.42 level, right? If you're able to, open and auction higher than this level, what would that mean?
That they wanted value higher.
Yeah.
43, 42.
So do you guys see where we opened? We opened right above it and immediately we pushed the price down. So the acceptance in market profile, especially the spike downs or spike ups, if this was opening below and it continued lower, that would signify what in terms of value?
We're looking for a new
The
balance.
value lower.
Acceptance.
That would mean that they are rejecting this area here and they're gonna seek lower.
Accepting the new value, yeah.
Okay. They here went above, right? They spiked all the way a little bit higher. And then obviously they cleared that 42 level again. So what is it telling you in terms of value now?
No buyers
They were
above.
looking for value.
Yeah, there was no value found here. So most likely they're going to search for new value below. And if you knew that, right, shorting 43 was a fairly easy concept. Because even if you shorted here, I mean, it wouldn't take much for you to catch points, right? 42 to the low of the day at that time, or here was 15. That's pretty cool, 27 points. Did anyone have 15 and 17 levels on their charts? You guys better answer yes.
I played NASDAQ, but pretty much the same level, yeah.
Yeah, we did have 15 and 17. Do you guys recall what that was?
Oh my God, I'm sorry, Shorty. I don't remember.
No, it was the single prints that we were watching. If you guys remember, it was the single prints. We were on smaller. We were on 6. We were watching for single prints to see where they started when they dropped, right? We had these, we had this one here at 23, and I think they started somewhere at 09 here as well. And we had the blue dotted line, and we said there's a high chance. I even commented in a Discord. I said 15, 17, you can expect the auction to slow down. As we came back there, we hit 15, and what happened? From 15, they went 63 and they scared everybody because everybody thought, ooh, reshape. And they broke the 43, but they were not able to break the POC, right? If you guys think about the POC here, the POC was here on TPOs on on volume profile. Where was the PD POC?
I've already switched it for
Man, you
today.
guys don't
Was it
remember levels.
4369?
4369. You guys have to get more sharper on your levels. You should be able to remember this from yesterday to today or last week. 69 was the level, and I was able to. I got in a little bit quicker, and I commented when I think it was GIF. He asked me, he said, you didn't call out that trade. I don't really. A lot of times I will, won't call it out. I'll just say I'm short or long, and then I said I'm entering a little bit early here. And you guys asked me why. Does it make sense why? Anyone see it?
The start of the shelf was earlier. The start of the shelf was 67.25.
That's
where my
correct. I mean,
first
it
one.
started a little bit earlier, right? But this was this was the level. If you're watching, it came back to this POC, but it happens to be something else from yesterday RTH session. Does anyone know what a halfback is in market profile?
Mm.
CK, what's halfback?
Trying to recollect, it was 50% of the
Cash session.
range. Session, yeah.
Yeah. So if you take 50% of the high to the low and go find this little midline that says there, what do you see? Does it ring a bell? So in market profile, there's something about halfbacks. It's very important. When you're having a trend day, and you might want to write this down. If you're having a trend day, if you see that you're trending, the first initial balance, and then you're able to break it, right? So far, that range that you have, the halfback of that range is not, most of the time, is not going to be broken. Does that make sense? And that was your halfback, which happened to be a POC.
Could you just say that once again? I'm writing that down.
If you're in a trend day, right? In trend days, it's much harder to reclaim 50% of something. Why? Give me 2 reasons why it's harder to reach 50% retracement on trend days than a
Because
normal.
the pressure is in the one direction.
That's correct. The pressure is one direction. So whoever is aggressively selling, unless you reach a point where what? The value is significantly below, then you might hit some other long-term buyers and you'll get a fight at that level in terms of the trend day, just like we hit 15 today. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in trend days, halfbacks or 50% of that range is really, really difficult. Okay. Does that make sense? Or
So once you see the 50% broken, it's
that, well, on a trend day, if they reclaim 50%, then you might have a really fast recovery point.
no, I'm saying like you shorted there. You saw it coming down, retested there at the POC, and you took it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you look here from prior day, this was the 50% of that range.
Right.
I would say, Wednesday was a trend day for sure, at least in my books.
Yeah.
Right. So if we go here, let's, if this is my range here,
You have that on 10 or 6.
this is 6.
Okay.
If this is our range, remember what we said about what is a trend day? How do we define trend day using TPOs and IBH? If this is our range here, it's a little bit bigger, I thought. if this is our range on Wednesday, which happens to be 20 points. So from this level, I need what to consider it?
2x.
Two
I need
times.
2x, guys. So now, did we get below 2x?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We probably got 3x, right? So we know that was a range day, right? Just by looking at 2 days worth of data. And here's your 3x right here. All right, come on, stop messing. Okay, you guys get the point. So we had the balance, 2x is here, which was, for that they set a value area low, then they broke it and they set, 3x and some more below. So we know this was a trend day. If I knew that, right, since we are trading based on this data today, that was the level why I liked it short. It was the POC, the midday is there. Did I prefer to get a better entry, like somewhere around here? Yeah, I did. Yeah, but did I get that? No, I didn't, right? So when you think about volume profile, why was I waiting for this price? Well, my volume profile was telling me that we might go here. And that was what I was targeting, right? But then if you go back and you just hide this, and I'm seeing, if you go, let's just go on smaller time frame. If you're seeing this auction here, it's stalling, right? You're not having full body candle. So look, full body candle, major overlap. And what I mean by that, the body and the wicks, when you have a trend, how should the candles look?
One overlapping the other going up.
It should be minimal overlap, and you should
Yeah.
look something like
Yeah, minimum. Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna have minimal overlap, and you're just gonna be,
Going
that
whatever direction. Yeah.
you're not gonna have much. When
Yeah.
you have a trend that's overlapping, you're gonna have something. And I asked you guys this about value areas, right? How do you know a trend is young or old? It's the same concept in candles. When the trend is young, you're not gonna have much because we just came out. Let's say market's always seeking between balance and imbalance. When they get out of imbalance and they immediately start overlapping, what's that telling you about the trend and the strength of the buyers?
It's getting
Reversal.
It's getting weaker.
The trend is getting weaker. It does not mean reversal. So now just take a look at this. I'm just giving you guys this is how my brain processes it, and I'm trying to explain it as I see it. So if you see here, I would say this candle is okay, healthy. I'm just gonna use this little tool. So you have this candle here and minimal overlap, a little bit of secret demand left here, I would say.
That's still
Then
good.
this one here is a little bit of a like, oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens immediately after that? They're telling you what?
That's where it starts.
We're not sure if we have value above. I don't know. We could go lower, right? And you're still making higher high, higher high, higher high, and higher low, right? Then you come in. I'm just gonna delete all of this so you guys can follow along. Then you come here again. We are putting in higher high and higher low. But then what happens on this candle here?
Start to have selling pressure.
Okay, you're getting selling pressure. You did not put in what?
A higher high.
And you did make a higher low. So now, if you're looking from the candle's perspective, this becomes a candle you're watching to see if we get sellers committed to take it down. You notice on the top, you have what?
A lot of pin bars.
You got a bull flag. Well,
Lower
bull flag for people not in this Discord, but yes.
Yeah, but like
I care about buying and selling. How do I know? How do I know if this is what? How do you tell if it's a long-term or a short-term trader? We covered it briefly, but how would you know here?
aggressive sellers.
Do you think a short-term trader can really push the price down?
No.
Remember, they're looking for fair price.
Yeah.
They're not looking for advantageous price. They're not looking for advantage of buying and selling and holding. They're just
Yeah.
there taking their little profits and living their life day to day.
Yeah.
When you start seeing some, especially that you had a clue that there's a seller here, right here. If you knew seller is there and you're coming back to revisit this guy here, and you're having wicks like this, that's telling you that there's somebody there that's not finding value and they're pushing the price down, most likely included in a long-term trade. And how do I know that? And CK, you answered this earlier by when I said if this thing did not happen the rest of the day and we stayed in, how do you know that there's long-term participants involved now?
They were passively buying it, absorbing, obsessively selling, so absorbing all the buying.
Okay, and what about this here?
The I sitting at the top of IBH, above IBH, of course.
So they're sitting on top of the IBH from the previous candle that they were selling, and you have all these wicks created. And in the middle of the trend up, you had a random candle that made a lower high, did not put in a lower low. And then when you mark this right here, as that's the, I would say, equal lows right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you mark that, or you could put these, whatever you want. You could use these two here. Look what happens. Right? If this is the lows of that candle that you're targeting, right? It would be somewhere here. And that would be your break for potentially making decent chunk of money on this.
Sure. Yeah.
Because right now you would be inside that initial balance. You're falling back inside the range. Okay. You did not find value. So that this means that the long-term buyers tried to push it up and they failed. They failed pretty miserably.
They didn't find value, so they.
And if you don't find value above, most likely you're going to visit the opposite range, even in IBL. And I mean,
That's
look what they
exactly what
did.
happened.
Usually what happens is if you fail to hold above on initial balance, right? And I would say, if you ask me, is this a clear break and hold of initial balance? I hope all of you would say no, considering that you're seeing all these
Yeah.
wicks on the top.
Yeah.
And if you look at the candles here, right, from one candle, second candle back inside, one candle, two candles, third one back inside, right? So can you validate this that the 88% rule would work? No, it's not going to work here.
They
You didn't
already
even,
created a 5-minute break on the IBL, below IBL, before all JPOW happened.
yeah, I mean, they had it. Yeah, they had it here, and they had it, you had it here right at the creation of it. And then, of course, you have the retail and whatnot buying. And then, of course, when they brought it back here, somebody played the breakout here, right? They played the breakout, and there was a couple of traps set today. And then again, they made a higher high here with these candles. Let me remove this. They made a higher high here, right? But they didn't really go far. I talked to you guys about last night. If you're going to go do this, break a high, at least have a full candle or something close above it. Like here, you don't even have a full candle break. And the next candle from this break does what? It's a lower high here. Is it? I would say this is a lower high here in my world. I don't know about you guys, but let's see. Is it lower high? Definitely. So you're putting in the lower high. If you broke this, I think the trend could have potentially continued, right? But I think that's exactly when J. Powell started talking, right? And then they reverted back. They came back. They sold off. Slowly, the trend went up. You see the aggressive sellers based on the candles. Do you see a lot of overlap on these candles?
No.
Giant
No.
candle sell off, giant candle
No.
sell off. So, and then you see some overlap here, right? But nothing crazy like you saw full body almost overlapped here. So to me, the aggressive and the angle of selling here, right? The angle is pretty steep, right? Almost like a black diamond versus like a green slope up. And now you're slowly selling, and then they're reaccumulated here, and they're like, okay, well, let's see what we do here, right? If you think about this, let's rethink about re-adding and reestablishing position, and then continue selling. And now let's see what they do here, right? It's the same concept. They sold here, they came back, they could not find value. Now you have, I would say, like a little mini one right here from intraday, right? But what are you noticing about between these consolidations and imbalances? Right, you had a consolidation here. I would call this area here. Then you had an imbalance, and you had a consolidation here, an imbalance, then you had a consolidation here. And what happens? Are the imbalances getting stronger or weaker? After hours, of course, they're looking a little weaker, but here they're staying, I would say, probably the same size.
Yeah.
Right, so the trend is, on this trend here that you're looking, 0.22 actually picked up more. It's fairly healthy as long as they don't come back inside now here. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, well, let's prep for tomorrow. Hopefully this clicked somewhat for most of you. Let's
Thank you.
look at SVP. We'll hide initial balance. We don't care for it now. Let's see what we got. So we do have, this is the first supply that hasn't been tested yet, right? So if you guys look here, this is the supply that hasn't had a test from the market. We accumulated here at 42.67, and we really haven't revisited this area here. And when you think about 3-day balance, this level right here is what? 42.85. Why would this play a potential role here?
One sec.
I was on cue, sorry.
Because that was when it was imbalanced.
So if this was our balance before, and now you're coming back here, what do buyers need to do here?
Defend.
Right, they need to show that they're accepting the prices higher. It's their first time revisiting. Okay, so this is a fairly important level, right? If they're able to get inside of here, 42.85, 42.67 becomes fairly quick, because they're most likely going to test the extreme of this value here if they're able to crack inside. So that would be about 42.56. Okay. So I would definitely watch this. And if you want to see any, let's say from volume profile perspective, what's the level you need to reclaim to see some kind of run?
That
6
big node.
or 9.
Just the
Maybe
bottom node.
like somewhere around here.
Yep.
Okay. This would be a good level, right? What's a safer level?
The
29
POC.
POC.
bottom.
What about this level right here? So you came here, you had a strong buyer. When something was a strong support and you break it, what do you expect to do when you hit it from the bottom?
Resistance
Becomes
at
resistance.
43.15
Ish.
again.
Oh, you guys remember it. Wow. 43.15 has been a huge level, guys, for almost, I don't even know how many weeks now. It was a huge delta. There was a lot of volume there, right? A lot of activity traded. So can you trade between 43.10 and 43.15? Yeah, that's, you could take this. Would I put a lot of chips in this trade? Probably not, right? Would I be more excited on the reclaim of 43.15 and to drive it to this PD POC? Yes. This would be a better level for me. The PD value area low and PD POC are fairly close in this. I would say it's almost a triple distribution type of a day. So I would watch for a reclaim of this level here because that was a strong low here, right? They came in and you know they rejected it and they pushed the price higher. So if you're able to get above it, that's great. The first instinct here in this range would be that you see to short it, right? But I would short rather the 10 than the 15 because why? I guess let me ask you, why would I be more comfortable shorting this first here tomorrow?
At the top of that high value node.
Yeah, I mean, I have a higher probability that they're going to defend this here. And my stop loss can be fairly, you know, measurable in terms of if I catch right here and I do something like this, that's a perfect trade, right? But then if they get in here, they could use this shelf as what?
Support.
Support.
So they got to use it as support. So if I'm shorting this opportunity here, I always lose the little button. So if I use this opportunity to short here, and I want this, I mean, do you guys see where my risk is? I'm giving them what, 2 points, less than 2 points, 1 3/4. This is a scalper's maybe dream and paradise, somebody that can execute so well. It's not a trade that many of you should be looking forward to. That makes sense. The probability of it's working out is very, very low. Because they have this shelf. If this shelf was not here and this volume node was fairly flat, then that becomes a much better probability. Okay, so this one is a no-no. We can watch and see. The only way I would take this trade is if they do this. Why is that?
They
Why?
went above and failed.
Went above and failed.
Yeah, they looked above. They were not able to build value above a key level. So that would tell me that these people here that caused this sell-off are there. And if they're there, why not go with those guys? Right? So that's the mindset that I would have on this level. If you're able to crack this level here, right? Let's say you're putting a nice high, you take out this supply and you come back here, well, then this one is doable. But you can see the scenario can shift rather quickly, right? You could place the 15 long, you could put the stop loss right below this little gap on the long side.
PDPOC.
So it'd be something like this, you know, you could target this and you could put something like this.
Yeah.
And look, you have a lot more risk to give, right? You have more points to give if you needed to. You could give them almost, you know, what is this, 5 points, because your reward is pretty big. But if you manage this, let's say more conservatively, this should be your first target, right? You should be managing to PD value area low or at least trim the position here. But this is not a bad trade. Nor is this one here. And then I would most likely expect us to hit this here, 43.30. If we reclaim 30, then we know, right? I would say that most likely you're going to hit this 43. And that 43 doesn't even ring a bell. Why is important?
It's a high volume node.
Mm-hmm.
43.
High volume node?
That's correct.
Yes. Yeah.
What about this, what I talked about earlier? Do you guys remember this? What happened here yesterday at almost 3:30?
Aggressive buyers that got smoked.
Yeah, the buyers got destroyed because then we auctioned in single prints here lower, right? So they spiked down late in the day, causing the spike, and then they defended it today. They said, no, we don't find any value. But if you're able to reclaim this level, what happens then? Then you have
Oh, 44, 12.
You would have 43.53 on a short term. Then you would have this guy right here at 62. And you would have this guy right here. Trying to put this guy right here.
On a longer term, you will already be in the 4-month SIG one at that
Yeah,
time.
I'm just
So
looking
it's
at
easier,
2
so.
days. Yeah. If you're able to crack this 43.53, this little area, I would say if you're able to crack over this, I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong.
It comes 62, 61 and 3/4. Yeah.
Yeah, this one right here, if you're able to take this value area high and this right here and crack above, that means you're above June value area low. It would have a potential that you're going to auction much higher. Okay, and I think the POC, the 4-month POC was 44.10. Right, somewhere around here, I believe is the level.
Yeah,
We'll
I
check.
got 44.11, but that's
Yeah, that's close. Maybe probably shifted somewhere.
Yeah.
But that would be, the level in terms of I would watch. And all of these levels, so the key level for you for upside, I would say 43.15. Really, really, I would say bullish above 43.30 here. Are they gonna have a little stall here and slow down at 43.21? Probably, right? Are they gonna trap a lot of people here? Yes. Right. Above this POC, once you clean it, there's a high chance you're gonna go higher. And now if you look at the liquidity zones from POC, from volume perspective, where would you expect the bottleneck to be? Just looking at this right here. Right where we expect the PD POC to be, because that's where they reaccumulated heavily and sold off. They're accumulated on the top HVN here, so that would be the bottleneck here. So if you're able to clear this neck, you're going to test the supply and liquidity on the top side. So that's why PD POC will be important. And then if you guys remember there's a slide in the PowerPoint that talks about, the sentiment. How do you determine the sentiment date from day? Well, if you reclaim PD value area low and PD POC, your odds of hitting that PD value area high are very, very high. The
Very high.
probability from here to here, I would say, is super duper high. Is there levels in between that they're going to try to shake you out? Of course, the trading would be super easy if that was not the case, right?
Yep.
Would they reject 43, come back to POC, fail POC, and reclaim POC, and then go to 53? Of course, their job is to make sure you're on the wrong side of the market.
Mhm.
Okay. So that'll be my plan for ES tomorrow. Any questions here? Does everybody understand why, and can you execute this?
Yes.
Or does it make sense why you would execute it? Is there anyone like, no, I don't like that
Yes.
one? It's okay if you don't like it, but let's talk about it.
Seems good.
Need a refresher in the morning. In the morning when I wake up, I'm like, oh, where was I?
No, I mean,
I
that's why
took
you
a
write it
screenshot.
down. You say
Thank you.
43.15
Yep.
is big. I would say,
43.15.
here, I'll write them out for you.
Yep.
Bullish
43.15
sentiment above to
above
43.30.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start writing these for you guys.
Oh my God. Thank you, Shorty. We need your help.
If you put it in Shorty's corner, that'd be good.
Yep, I'll do that. So this is where I look for above and fail. That would increase my probability and sizing here if we do that, right? If they go above this node and they fail, then I know they're not serious, right? They're not really aggressive on buying.
Above 43.30 and fail, right?
No, the first short opportunity, look for above, fail 43.10. If they go above and fail, then I
Okay.
know these people are not serious. Right?
Okay.
They're not my type of people. If we go above PD POC and they come back, then I know they're fairly serious and they're probably going to target this level here. 23 points on ES, I would probably be done trading on a Friday, right? That would be a really good payday. Okay. If we able to go here, right, just like we did today, if they come here and they dance like this and they're not making higher highs, like, they're making lower highs here, like somebody said bull flag, sure. The bull flag did not really work out here.
Yeah, I know.
If they come in here and they give you a retest I promise there's a high chance you do this. Now just look back here. They went above, they failed. What did they do here?
Yep.
They gave you a damn retest. And then,
Reject.
So that could be an 80% rule if they do that. What
exactly.
you just said, right?
Yep. That would be the 80% rule. And they do it all the time. But what
Yeah.
happens with a lot of you guys, you get so carried away with mental clarity, with charts, your thinking is not straight. You have to look at the, zoom out a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
zoom out. Yeah.
Zoom out, see what's happening, fucking take everything off the charts and just be like, okay, I see where you bounced. Find the spots where we bounced and see where we might fail. Where can they set the traps for you?
Yeah.
If you ever had a mice at home, right? If you don't think like one, you will not catch one. I'm being serious. Like,
You gotta put the cheese, man. You gotta put the cheese.
no, I'm serious. You have to think,
Just get a
okay,
cat.
well, yeah, well, we'll just get a cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to think, okay, if you put cheese right in the middle of the room, what are the odds you're going to catch it? Probably none.
None. You gotta put the trap.
They go against the walls, they leave pee pee and poo poo all around the walls, and that's how they know how to travel because they don't have to think about left and right. Right. And it's same
You're
with you
right.
guys. You should not be trading in the middle. You should be trading on the edges. You should be looking at the supports and the bounces and coming back and retests and failures. And
Yeah.
same thing, if you want to catch a fucking mouse, same concept in that crazy ass world. If you want to catch it, you have to think like one. Like I was trying to catch underground squirrels because I don't know if you guys know, my hobby is my lawn. As you get older, you find weird hobbies. Mine is grass and making it perfect. So
It was looking real pretty in the picture.
yeah, and
I
you'll see in
guarantee
March.
you
My
felt
goal is to
positive
make
about
it
the
5 times better in March. But the idea is the same. Like with these ground squirrels, I watched them in the morning. I went and bought some, some guns for shooting them. I was so aggravated, and then I was like, man, why don't I just put their fucking favorite food? I bought some traps. I put them in the backyard, and they slowly started coming in, and I would just relocate them to my favorite neighbor about 20 houses down, and I put them in his backyard. But it's the same here, guys. How can they screw you, right? If this is our resistance here, well, you would expect them to take out your stop losses here. Let us peek above. Let us take them out. When they're out, right? They're shorting here. We take them out. We take out the stop losses. Now we took the liquidity. What should I do?
Go the other way.
Go
Oh,
the other
sure.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're stopped. They're no longer short. Now you dump it. And that's when you hear, oh man, I had the right idea, but my stop loss was 1.5 points, like Dempsey or somebody, right? If you're expecting this, big level, right? I mean, I even wrote it last night. I don't have the chart. I don't know if I posted it. I'll check. But we had this zone marked out last night from 50, I think it was to 55 or 54.5, I believe 54.5. It was marked, and I'll find the chart and post it. It was a zone where they can trap. That's why I don't trust single levels, because people take this level and they put a stop loss immediately based on this, right? 53, and then they would put the stop loss. Our level was more about 50 to 5-point range, go above, fail, and then pretty much that's what they did. They dumped. Okay. All right. Well, I'm working on adding more stuff on market profile. I'd like for some of you, what would you like to see? On market profile, I could probably write a book, but half of you guys will not read books. So what questions do you have on market profile? Because I'm going to take notes for you guys to kind of help you on this class on Sunday.
Oh boy.
I can come
You-
up with
you-
some questions. I
Okay.
don't have
You
anything
guys,
off the top
yeah,
of my head.
that's fine. I don't mean to put you guys on the spot. How about between tonight and tomorrow, you think about questions and message me with the questions, and then I'll frame the class to answer those questions. How's that?
Okay.
That's nice.
If you
Sounds
don't
good.
ask questions, guess what?
You don't have answers.
I don't know. I can go what's in my head, and I don't know if it'll make sense, but if I know how you're thinking and where you're struggling, I potentially put the training around it to help you. Right? It's almost like you go into a doctor and you tell them everything hurts. Okay, great. Nobody's gonna be able to figure out what the hell's wrong with you. Okay. All right. Well,
That's
think
funny.
about that. No, just think about it over the night. You know, you guys are learning. Most of you should be familiar with volume profile by now, guys.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, if you're new, it's gonna take at least 2 to 3 months for you to catch up on everything volume profile. And I would add, you know, market profile is it's a different language, right? You know, we call something 50% of the range. They call it halfbacks. They have setups that they play off of trend days, and the halfbacks, they have buy tails, sell tails. Those are, you know, just like the ICT concept, right? But Peter actually coined this, right? He invented the whole concept in 84. You know, he had classes on this to only floor traders because it worked. So there's no reason, you know, to come up with 1,000 different names for this shit. But as long as you can start understanding the language, and then you go to a chart and you spend some time looking at it logically, that's when it's going to start clicking a lot more. Okay. All right. Well, think about the questions. This is my plan for tomorrow. If we lose 85, right, on continuation down, if we lose 85, I would expect us to go 67 and then 42.56, right? So if you guys think about this, we haven't really moved much yet. Where we can go, we haven't really moved much. And if you guys think about this, why is this level important? Like the dotted lines? Well, just zoom out. Look at this level right here. Let's see. Let's extend this bad boy, right? And now if you go on 3 minutes and you look at it, right? This is the whole area here where you can reject, and probably top of the range you can reject, and you see us kind of dancing in that spot. So this is part of a huge node here, and there's a lot of volume that was in that. Okay. So if this was an SR flip, like it is, right? Part of a gap here. It was the high of August, right here. And then they dumped, they came back. They're struggling to hold, and now if they fail and they put in a lower low, that this level becomes fairly important. So let's see how they react to it tomorrow. If we see aggressive buyers and reclaiming, well, maybe they can claim victory, test the highs of 4400s and go on. But zoom out, look at the levels and see kind of what are they telling you, right? If you're struggling with regular candles to see here, switch to this. And you know, you can even switch to, you know, something higher time frame and see where are we. Well, this is a fairly crucial level, I would say, just looking on the candles. You have support here, here, all the way to 42.55, which is our last level of support here. Losing 42.55 sets you up for a disaster, in my opinion, because most likely you're going to go to that level that you guys should have on your charts of 41.40, right? So I would definitely watch that. And then you have, I believe it was 4,200. And I think 2022 or 2022 value area high is at 42.20. 42.20 and a half.
Hold on a second.
Let's check. If my,
2022 value area high. Give me a second.
I will check right now.
4380 I got. Oh no. That's
There's no way,
2023.
man.
My bad.
It's right here. It should be
22.
42.20 and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop it. Why the fuck
For
is
some
it off?
reason I did 2023.
Okay, 42.20 and
Yeah,
10. Sorry
4220
about
exactly.
it. Okay, so this becomes, from longer time frame, guys, this becomes so important, right? And you want to be aware of that, right? We know about this level here that's below, huge level. Lose that, then you go, you know, 39.70, And, high chances you go visit some of these nodes and bounce and set a bunch of traps. But in terms of big picture, we are approaching a level that's fairly important between 56 and 42.20. Super duper important level. This sets the rest of the year, guys. Because if you're not able to hold above this value, what does that mean?
Gonna drop.
Reversion to the
We're
mean.
going down.
Earlier, I showed you guys that most likely you're gonna visit the opposite, which would be 36.33. That will be the target. So this level here is your determine. This is gonna determine the rest of the year for us. And the sooner they tell us, the better we're gonna know. And maybe we swing calls or we're gonna swing puts.
36.33 is 2022 value area low.
Yep, that's why I put it there, because that's where they would go. Would I trust myself to go heavy here on puts as soon as we enter? Yeah, probably not, because this guy
No.
right here is sitting with the major POC. Losing, that level 41, 35, 40 level here would almost guarantee you're gonna drop, call it 80 points, but you would be on the way to 36, 33. Because you haven't been here yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, my mouth's pretty much dry here. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, and hopefully we can catch some decent points.
All right, buddy.
Wow,
Thank you.
thank you, Shorty.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, man. Good night, everyone. Hope we kill him tomorrow.